Guys, welcome back. I'd like to thank you all for watching until now. Uh, if you are getting a very useful information from my channel, consider subscribing to get more. This will encourage me to do more for you guys and upload more videos and more tutorial series. So let's talk about the databases in Laravel. Databases are structured really well in Laravel because we have something called migrations. So we don't have to deal with the database itself directly. We will deal with the databases through the migrations. We type some lines of codes in Laravel and then migrate these files to apply them to the database. So we are not going to create tables and alter them and drop them and insert data and retrieve data, select star from. We are not going to like type any SQL commands or SQL structured query languages. We are only going to deal with them through Laravel. So migrations are very useful in terms of dealing with databases. So first, let's connect our web app to the database. If you downloaded Exam, you will have database installed in your machine. If you opened Exam and you started it and you reached this level or this result, you are good to go with us. So let's minimize this, and to check our database or MySQL database installed in our machine, we can go to the web browser and type in the URL section local host php my admin. Okay, and if you get this page, then you have a MySQL database installed in your machine. Okay, so to create a new database, we have to create a new database in our database. To connect to it, we will click on this new button and let's name it, for example, blog posts. Okay, this is too long. My blog. I believe that I have my blog in my database, and let's create this. Oh, I have to create it in here. Sorry, database name. Okay, so we have a my blog database in our database. So let's connect to that my blog. Let's go to the code, and to configure our database, we need to go to this file right here. It's the .env file. This file configures, or you will configure every service in this file. So Laravel structures everything for you. So for example, if you want to configure something like mail servers or something like that, you will configure the credentials, the username and the password and the encryption. You will configure everything here. And Laravel will take this information from here, from this place, and if it wanted to use this information, it will copy it from here, and you as a developer will only edit them or update them from here. So for example, if you changed your account in the mail servers or something like that, and you pasted this credential in some places or several places in your code, so you will have to go to every place you configured these credentials and update them. So now with this .env file, you will not have to do that. You will only paste them or set them in this file, and Laravel will take them from here. So we are not interested in the mail service right now. What we are interested in is the DB connection settings. So leave everything as it is for now, but change this Laravel database into my blog, the database name that we just named. It's the my blog database. Okay, and save this file. And a very important thing you have to do is you have to restart the PHP artisan serve, so that Laravel will refresh the configuration, that because Laravel, when you serve the server, when you serve Laravel, it takes the credentials from here and doesn't update them. So all you have to do is press Ctrl C in your terminal and arrow up and press enter, and then you are good to go. All right, so we have configured the database here, and now we want to create a migration. But first, before we create a migration, we want to create a model to create a migration from there. As we discussed in Laravel, when you go to the controller, okay, so the controller will get the information from the model, and the model gets the information from the migration. All right, so we need to make a migration with the model to be connected together. So to do that, let's open a new tab in the terminal, and let's create, for example, a PHP artisan and make command, make model. Okay, and let's name this model as product. And let's do another option with this command, and let's do a -m. So this will create a product model or product model, and will attach a migration with it. This will be a created file that will be attached to this model. So let's create this model. Okay, so the model is created successfully, and also the migration is created successfully, and it named it as create product table. Doing that, the migration, the table, and the model will be connected together. If you create the migration with itself and with another command you created the model, they will be not linked, and you will have to link them manually. So with that, they are automatically linked. Now let's go to check out our model. Let me show you your model. So if you go to the app, and let me close everything up to open it again in front of you. So if we open the app folder and we opened, we will find the models here. We have a user model by default, and it's pre-configured, but it's not used yet. We will use it later. And we also created the product model. So if you opened it, we will find that it's empty. We can configure everything here if we wanted to. So let's close this, and let's open the migration file, this migration file that we have just created, or Laravel created it for us. Thanks, Laravel. We will find it in the database folder, and in the migrations folder, we will find some migrations pre-created, and we are interested in this last migration file. This is the lastly created migration that we have just created. We can notice that we have an up function and a down function. What this does is when you run the migration, for now these are only blueprints. They are not configured yet, or they are not executed yet. You will just type whatever you want in this migration, and when you type migrate, the migration will check this function, okay, and will create all the tables or the columns in this table. So it will create them, and then it will go to this function, which is down, and it will drop the columns that you have specified here in this function. So we will not touch this a lot. We are only interested in the up function. So let's create, for example, here we are creating columns for now. Okay, so it's creating in products table. Okay, it will create a table, and it will put in this table the columns that we are going to type right now. So by default, you will have an ID, which is auto increments each time you insert new data in it, and you will have a timestamps which are created and updated at. So let's create some columns. And to find out how to create columns, you can always go to the documentation. Let's go to the documentation together. Laravel migrations. All right, and let's go to the migrations together. We can scroll down until we find that table. Yeah. this table, we can add columns like that. If we want to add a boolean, so we can add it like that. We will have to type the variable table and then this arrow, and we will type boolean if you wanted a boolean, and the column name will be confirmed. Okay, if we wanted a char table, we have to type this. This is the column name, and this is how many characters in it. So we have pretty a lot of options we can create. We can create a MAC address. We can create a medium text. We can create a long text like here, and we can create a string. We can create here it is a string and the text. So we have a pretty awesome options we can create. And also right here we can do some like configuration for each column. For example, here this is saying that this column can be nullable. Okay, so by default no column can be nullable. If you create a row, you will have to configure, or you will have to insert every detail in that column or in that row. You will have to specify the inputs of all of these columns. So this configuration or this setting will say that this column can be nullable, or you can set a default value. Let me see if I can find it. If we search for default, yeah, right here, default, yeah, right here we can set a default value. So if it's a boolean, for example, and you don't want it to be null, but you have to set it for, like example, false for as a default, you can set it for false if you want to. So let's now configure our table. So as we saw in the documentation, we can create a table. Okay, and I want this to be a string. Okay, so the product name. Okay, and let's create also a table. Oops, table. Okay, do we have a double here? Double. Yep, we have a double, and you can create how many digits are in the this double. We have 8 digits on left side of the dot and 2 digits on the right side of the dot. So let's copy this because I'm super lazy. All right, and amount, let's set this to price. Okay, and that's it, I think. Let's set a description. All details. Details. I hope that okay. And that is it. I just want to add these 3 columns in my table. Let's migrate right now. We can migrate by PHP artisan migrate and type enter. If it migrated, then the connection in the .env file went correctly. Okay, if it didn't migrate, just check the configuration. Maybe you have a typo in the database name, or restart the artisan serve or something like that. So we migrated all the tables in the migration folder. So we can find that we migrated the users, and these come as default with Laravel. And we also migrated the products. We can find this ID, and these are the timestamps, and these are our columns. So that is it for this video. It took so long, I'm so sorry. So I hope you took something useful from it, and see you in the next one. Bye.